I want to start, Matt, with something that I just wouldn't know because I've never been on a team plane. It used to be NBA teams traveled. They got on a plane at 6 in the morning with regular folks. And then about 15 years ago, they moved into team planes. So there's a story today about the Lakers' dysfunction. And a lot of it is, it's we all knew it was mostly confirmed a chaotic situation. There is a point in the article where they talk about Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, being on the team plane. So let me start with this. Have you ever seen an agent on a plane?
I don't recall an agent being on. I mean, I could be wrong, because they sit in a completely separate area than we sit, but I don't recall it.
Here's my problem would be, okay, if I'm a player and I tell, LeBron's agent's on the plane, I'm thinking as an agent, you're recruiting my guys on the plane. That's access to my players and my clients.
Right.
I don't think it would sit well. I mean, what do you make of it?
I mean, you open the door to situations where, if it's him, why can't someone else's agent come? But then at the same time, Rich was the center of the AD noise and trying to trade, be a part of that, the Lakers trading 3 or 4 or 5 young pieces to get AD there. So it's kind of it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? You open the door to situations like that, but at the end of the day, it's not something, it's just another distraction. I'm not mad at Rich Paul if they're going to open the door to the plane and let him come on, go. You know what I mean? But I think that says more about management than it does about, what he's doing or moving around in there.
When you were on the Warriors team, the championship team, just give me a list of who was on the team plane. Team coaches, trainers.
Owners, important players. But see, the Warriors are a little looser from a standpoint of the one thing I did love about the Warriors is as far as family, like our family could travel whenever we wanted. So I had the twins flying with me, sitting up where the players sit during the finals and practicing. And,
wow.
So their main thing is you handle basketball, we handle absolutely everything else. So it makes our focus singular, and, they help put them in hotels and they can travel with us. And there's always buses to the games and buses to practice. Like, team family dinners after games is incredible. They feed you and whoever else you want to bring with you. They'll close a restaurant down after the game. And so it's second to none. You know what I mean? But you don't hear...
Agents are different.
You don't hear agents around and that close. But like I said, I could be wrong. I just was never really paying attention to it.
Let's talk and move off the Lakers' dysfunction. I want you to take my audience, our viewers and our listeners. When you're with the Warriors, I was saying in the break, it's like traveling with a great successful band like the Eagles in their prime or U2. It's going to be sold out. Right. You're very successful. There's a certain confidence. You had so much success on stage before. Of all your travels, Clippers, Lakers, Kings, Magic, Grizz, Sun, Knicks, tell me about traveling with the Warriors during the playoffs, knowing how great you were, knowing the success you'd had, just traveling on, and mostly about the players. What was it like?
I just never seen anything like it. It was, obviously a situation with the team they've acquired and the superstars and the personalities, but the fanfare was incredible, but at the same time, it was always, focused on what we had to do, or the team had to focus on business. It was never distraction off the court, going out before a game. Like, they knew that they were in the finals to win a championship. That's the only thing that matters. So going on the road, I know for a fact, doesn't matter to this team. They understand, Toronto's a tough place to play. It's a young crowd. There's people are still talking about Drake, whatever the situation may be. But they know they're going in there to win 2 games. Most teams think we're going to go win 1 game. Golden State's going in there talking about we're going to win both games in Toronto. And it's a confidence. It's not a cockiness. They've been there. They've done that. Even though they're shorthanded, it's the next man up mentality. And these guys will be ready to play on Thursday.
It's weird. Sometimes I noticed this year with the Warriors, they had some ugly losses at home. I almost wonder if playing on the road in a weird way doesn't galvanize you.
Just more focused. You got everyone against you. You're not as comfortable. You have to come out and know that you're the Warriors and you're getting everyone's best shot. And the crowd is always, the opposing crowd is always going to get on you. So I think it's just the process, that they've had a couple, 30-point losses and streaks of losing during the season. Oh, this is not the same team. These people have they know they're going to be playing until June every single year. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. And they know now is what they've been waiting for all season.
It's funny. Now that the playoffs, we have the finals. I like Anthony Davis. Unlike most bigs, he's great at the free throw line. He's a great free throw shooter.
Great touch.
Great touch. But like most bigs, he's not a ball handler. He's not controlling tempo. And I don't trust him shooting outside. And I watch Giannis get marginalized. And I watch him go. And I've seen this with Duncan. I've seen it with Shaq. I've seen it with all the greats. Yet in these postseason free throw moments, I just don't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I'm anti-bigs. But could I make the argument, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Giannis, there's a little shine off it when you watch Giannis get kind of pushed around by Kawhi, Kawhi be so trustable late, Giannis really erode the line. I'm not anti-bigs, but I wonder if when you look at Anthony Davis today, do I say to myself, yeah, I've seen that act in the playoffs. That thing's not getting past the second round. Like, would you still want a Bradley Beal or an Anthony Davis given a choice if you were the Lakers? See, I'm a Beal guy.
That's a tough call. That's a real tough call because Beal's really come into himself, since Wall's been down and shown that he's really been able to almost carry that team.
Yes.
It's definitely shown. But I like Anthony Davis if he can stay healthy. Because I think that, the things you mentioned, you don't trust him with his ball handling. I know he works very hard on that in shooting, and I know that's something he works very hard on. To me, he can hurt you in several different ways. Attacking similar to Giannis, being able to throw the ball down on the block to him, pick and pop. And like I said, he's working on his three-point shot. And I think that's what hurt Giannis down the stretches. Once they clogged that paint up and put Kawhi, made it, elbows and shoulders for the defense, he didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't have a mid-range to one dribble pull-up to go to or a pick and pop three. Although he hit a couple threes, you can tell he's not very confident with it. He wants to get to the basket every time if he can.
Giannis is still a piece, even though he was dominant.
Oh, yeah, he's still a work in progress.
Yes.
He's going to be tremendous. And when I said the other day, last time I was on Fox, I think I said he's a star becoming a superstar. And people are like, what are you talking about? He's an MVP. But he's still not to where he's going to be. When he's there where he's going to be, he'll be a superstar, probably the best player on the planet when it happens. But when he develops the rest of his game, that's what I meant. Not taking anything from him because he's probably going to be the MVP this year. He's still a work in progress, and it's scary how good he's going to be.
I think this is actually, I said the other day, this reminds me of a little Dallas Mavericks against the Heat. Toronto does have some ingredients that work. Good coach, bunch of crafty veterans. They're not going to be intimidated by the moment. And a superstar. So there's no indecision. All right, who's taking the shots?
Right.
That's a lot of Dallas, Dirk, Rick Carlisle. Now, I still don't think you can win a title without a dependable number 2 scorer. But I think it's an interesting finals.
Yeah.
I do think they win a game in Toronto. I mean, what do you foresee?
I think it's going to be interesting. I think the fact that the Warriors have just been there and guys are ready for these moments. This is new to some or most of Toronto. Kawhi's been there. You need to see a lot from Danny Green. I think he's going to be key in this
He struggled in the last month.
He struggled last series, but he's going to be guarding Steph and Clay a lot, and then he's also probably going to have Steph on him a lot, so he's going to have to make Steph work on the defensive end. It'll be interesting to see how effective Marc Gasol is or if they go to Serge Ibaka because, Draymond's going to be playing the 5 a lot. They're going to be picking and popping, and can Marc stay up in the pick and rolls and, be back or whatever their coverage are, can Marc handle all that? So I think there's some interesting matchups, but I think Toronto – for everyone's going to have to play really well for Toronto to be able to keep up with what Golden State is doing. But I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto got a game or 2.
I think you brought up an interesting point that nobody's talked about, but this is true. Toronto's crowd is young. Young people are louder. Is that when you get to these classic, like when I go to a Laker game, it's a lot of 50-year-old people who have had tickets forever. It's like going to a Michigan football game. Michigan's been good for 100 years. Yeah. It's not a very loud stadium. Right. When you go to Oregon, which got good about 20 years ago, Oregon's rowdy, and they're lubricated.
Oh, yeah. I remember even in college, Oregon, when we played the Ducks, was one of the loudest places we ever played.
Because they weren't good in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So the season ticket holder base is younger, more youthful. Toronto's a real home.
I love Toronto. And the fact that they get people to stand outside in that little mezzanine area when it's freezing outside going crazy like that. I love what Toronto's doing. I love the fact that, Drake has really got behind them and rallied the city. I think it's what basketball needs. You know what I mean? Everyone talks about Golden State's dominant, but everyone's really excited for Toronto. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and what's more interesting to see is if they have success or they win or lose, what does Kawhi do next year? Is getting to the finals enough, or is he coming home to L.A. regardless? So I think it's going to be a fun situation to
Good
watch.
Stuff. Matt Barnes, good seeing you, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.